Perhaps everyone has experienced that moment when you walk into a crowded room, your heart pounding, your hands sweaty, and a familiar thought lingering in your head. What if I say something stupid? In modern psychology, this state is called social anxiety. Usually people see it as a flaw, a disorder to be eliminated. But if we look deeper, social anxiety is not simply our enemy. It is a kind of survival radar. A sophisticated mechanism passed down to us by our ancestors through thousands of years of evolution. In ancient times, when humans lived in tribes, being accepted by the community was a matter of life and death. Rejection meant losing access to food, shelter, and sometimes even survival itself. That's why our brains linked social anxiety with survival. Even today, that fire alarm still rings whenever we enter a new social environment. The important point is, instead of treating it as a burden, we can transform this feeling into strength. Together, let's explore new perspectives on social anxiety, seeing it as an ally, and practice turning it into a tool for connection. These are not just abstract theories, but practical skills you can apply in daily life.
1.
Social anxiety. The evolutionary radar. Once we understand that social anxiety is not really an enemy, we can see it as an evolutionary radar that has helped humans survive for millennia. That uneasy feeling in a crowd is not abnormal. It's proof that our brain is functioning as designed. Social anxiety makes us more sensitive to facial expressions, tones of voice and body language, signals that once meant survival. Instead of trying to shut this radar down, we need to learn how to tune it so it works in our favor.
2.
Social gym. Training step by step. And if it's a survival mechanism, then social skills are the muscles we can train, just like at the gym. No one can lift 100 kilo on their first day. Social skills work the same way. Every time you make eye contact, smile, or ask an extra question, that's a social rep, a small repetition that builds over time. Neuroscience shows that each repetition creates new neural connections, slowly turning awkwardness into ease. Just 5 minutes of small actions each day is enough to build strong social muscles.
3.
The 70-30 formula, the art of listening. But communication isn't only about what we say. It's also about how we listen to create connection. The most attractive person in a conversation is not the one who talks the most, but the one who listens deeply. When we let others speak 70% and keep ourselves to 30%, their brains release dopamine, the trust and pleasure chemical. True listening is not passive silence, but emotional attunement, noticing tone, breath, and eye contact. By doing this, we become a living diary others want to open again and again.
4.
The power of curiosity. Once we've mastered listening, the next step to disarm anxiety is shifting attention outward through genuine curiosity. Instead of worrying if we're interesting enough, we can be curious about the person in front of us. Every person is a living library. A thoughtful question is like a key opening chapters never read before. By turning attention outward, our brain shifts from, "Am I okay?" to "What story does this person carry?" And surprisingly, curiosity itself is one of the most powerful antidotes to social anxiety.
5.
The 3 mirrors of communication. However, to stay curious and connect well, we also need to recognize that every conversation reflects through multiple mirrors. In any exchange, 3 images coexist: their self-image, how others see them, and who they really are. Often, we react to the wrong mirror, mistaking coldness for indifference, when it might be an old wound hidden away. Understanding this rule helps us become less defensive, less offended, and more compassionate in seeing others fully.
6.
The question funnel and the memory palace. Once we read the right mirror, asking the right questions keeps conversations flowing. A key to avoiding dead ends is the question funnel. Start with facts, expand into opinions, then dive into feelings. Pair this with a memory palace, where you store details about the other person for later. A simple follow-up like, "How did that hiking trip you mentioned turn out?" can make someone feel genuinely valued.
7.
The echo effect beyond questions, another powerful tool for empathy, is natural rhythm and synchronicity with the other person. Our brains are wired to trust when we sense alignment. By subtly adjusting tone, pace, and posture, we create a feeling of being on the same wavelength. This isn't fake. It's like playing a duet. Even small echoes of alignment can build safety and trust.
8.
Social momentum and daily habits. Synchrony sparks connection, but to keep it alive, we need to keep our social engine running daily. Social skills are like a winter car. If left unused, it's hard to start. That's why it helps to keep a small ignition every day. Greeting a neighbor, making small talk with a coworker. Tiny actions keep our social engine warm.
9.
Conversation threads and open loops. As socializing becomes a habit, you'll notice that every conversation carries multiple threads to pull on. Every statement has hidden threads waiting to be unraveled into new stories. Knowing how to pull them ensures you'll never run out of topics. Likewise, leaving open loops, details left unfinished, creates curiosity, making others want to continue engaging with you. 10. The social memory bank. These threads, when remembered and nurtured, become deposits in a memory bank that strengthens relationships. Every conversation plants small seeds. With care and attention at the right times, these seeds grow into meaningful bonds. This is what separates superficial interactions from connections that leave lasting impressions.
11.
Strategic vulnerability. But memory and attention alone aren't enough. The deepest connections come from moments when we dare to show our vulnerability. Connection doesn't come from oversharing, but from small, honest admissions. I feel nervous too. Such a simple line can make others feel you are human, just like them.
12.
EQ, the emotional GPS. Once we practice vulnerability wisely, we need a compass to guide us. This is where EQ comes in. EQ doesn't erase negative emotions, but it shows us the smartest path through them. By reading the emotional map of others, we can adjust our responses. Bring calm when they're anxious. Lift energy when they're excited. EQ is the navigation system that helps us avoid unnecessary collisions.
13.
Surfing the context waves. And if EQ is the emotional map, then context is the current we must learn to surf. Every social space has its own wave. Meetings are formal, cafes are relaxed, parties are energetic. A good social surfer isn't changing who they are, but adapting their tempo to match the rhythm of the group, like a musician adjusting tempo to fit the song.
14.
Raising the temperature slowly. Yet even when we surf well, we can't rush. Patience is the key to building lasting bonds. Connection is like heating a kettle of water. Throwing ice on a roaring flame will shatter it instantly. Only slow, steady warmth, shared experiences. Small steps creates durability.
15.
Group ecology and flexible roles. As connections deepen, we find ourselves part of a group ecosystem, where roles shift and balance matters. Every group works like an ecosystem. The socially skilled know when to spark energy, when to bond others together, and when to ease tension. This flexibility makes them the vital link in any circle.
16.
Growing a social garden. And once we've found our rhythm in small groups, we can expand outward, planting new seeds of connection to grow an entire garden. Relationships are like plants. Some need regular care. Others thrive with occasional attention. When you connect two people, you plant a seed. Over time, the garden flourishes, and you become the catalyst everyone values.
17.
The digital society, a parallel world today. That garden extends beyond the physical world into the digital one, a parallel version of real life. Online interactions aren't fake. They mirror reality. A heart reaction carries weight like a smile in person. A thoughtful comment is like a nod of approval. When we bring authenticity to both worlds, digital ties become real connections.
18.
Flexible boundaries. Whether online or offline, setting healthy boundaries is like having a membrane that protects while still allowing exchange. Boundaries are not walls, but living membranes. They let connection flow while preserving safety. When we set clear boundaries, we remove tension and bring more honesty into our interactions.
19.
The social architect and the hidden map. And once we master boundaries, we can take the next step, becoming a social architect, someone who designs spaces where others shine. A true leader in social dynamics is not the loudest voice, but the one who creates environments where others flourish. To do the CS, we must understand the hidden psychological maps of each person, their needs for safety, competence, and belonging. Meeting these needs deepens and strengthens every relationship. In the end, social anxiety is not a disease to be eliminated, but a sensitive radar that helps us survive and connect. It is like a cocoon, awkward and fragile at first. But with patience, through eye contact, a smile, a small question, the wings of a butterfly eventually unfold. Social life is not for those who wait until they are perfect. It is for those who dare to try. Right now, in the next conversation. One glance, one question, one moment of true listening. And perhaps from that tiny moment, you'll not only connect with others, but reconnect with yourself. The human being who was always born to belong, to love, and to share.